Hi and welcome back to my channel. This is Marla. I'm so glad that you're joining me today. Today I have a real treat for you. I'm going to be doing some watercoloring using a new stamp set from Scrappy Tails Crafts. It's called Carrot Patch Bunnies and it is absolutely adorable. Take a look at the bunnies and the sentiments. I'm going to do some watercoloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I'm going to go through one of the images, and then we are also going to be doing some masking with our stenciling. This is a new stamp set, so I did use my Tombow sand eraser over the top, and then you saw that I used my microfiber cloth just to wipe everything down. I have archival ink because I am doing watercoloring, and this is coffee. I'm using my stamp press to get a good impression. My pad is a little bit dry. I do need to get a re-inker for it, so I do have to stamp it one more time. The images in this stamp set really reminded me of the Beatrix Potter illustrations, and I thought that watercoloring would really lend themselves very well to the just the vibe that I was looking for this card. I did stamp my images onto some Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm going to go through some of the colors that I used, talk a little bit about the process. Bristol Smooth cardstock is fabulous when you use your Zig or if you have the Tombow water markers. I love the fact that I can use a little bit of water or I can choose not to, and these pens will blend beautifully. There is a basket on the left side of this bunny, so I started with the darkest color, which was dark oatmeal, and then I blended out a little bit with the plain oatmeal. It's just oatmeal color, and then I added a little bit of beige. Finally, I have this water brush, and I have a little container of water up in the upper left hand corner. I dip my brush in, and then this holds a lot of water, so I did wipe it off on my microfiber cloth because you don't want to saturate the paper with water. You just want a damp brush that's going to help that ink move. So for the ears, I'm using the same process. I'm starting at the bottom of the ears with that dark oatmeal, and then I'll blend it out with the oatmeal color, and then finally I'll add a little bit of the beige and a little bit of water, and we are going to blend this out. If you haven't seen the Scrappy Tails release, it is amazing. There are so many adorable die cuts that go with some of the pop-ups that Sabrina had released over the Christmas and fall holidays. There's stamps, just so cute. I mean, this stamp set was, it was the first thing that just caught my eye because as my kids were growing up, I was a huge Beatrix Potter fan. In fact, Peter Rabbit was the first set of bedding that I had for my firstborn son, and bunnies have just played a big role in my life. In fact, there was one time in my life that I had 22 rabbits. Long story, lots of oopsies, but yes, we had 22 rabbits at one time. So I really love the bunnies, especially in the springtime. Easter comes very early this year. It's coming March 31st, which is why this release is so early, because it's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that we just finished Christmas and now we're creating for Easter. But yes, March 31st is Easter this year, so it is coming very early. The inside of those ears, I started out with the beige and then I blended it out with that water. And now I'm going to go back to, I will end up going back to the face. I'm going to do the arm right now using those same three colors. But for the face, I wanted to let that dry, even though I used minimal water. By letting it dry, it is going to prevent any pilling that can happen. Sometimes if you use too much water, if the paper already is damp and then you saturate it some more, you're going to get a little bit of pilling, and so I wanted to let that area dry, work on other areas on the body before I went back to the face, because I did want to add a little bit more shading. I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark oatmeal and a little bit more of the regular oatmeal to the left side of the face and some of the areas that I just wanted to, that I lost some of that deeper shading. For the inside of the ears, I'm using a blush color, so I laid down the beige, I blended it out with my brush, and then I'm adding a little bit of this blush color to give a little pinkness, and then I added it to the cheeks. I'm not going to bring that pink all the way up to the tips of the ears. I'm just adding that little bit of pink towards the bottom and the middle portion. And then of course I always love to add cheeks. I'm going to add some jeans to this. Now this is a different color combination, so I started with a dull blue and I wanted to make it even duller, and so I went ahead and I used a dark gray marker after I get my blue down, and that gray marker is going to be a cool gray 3. So I added a darker gray and then I'll blend those two colors together. You'll notice that I'm not going to lose any of that blue. That gray will blend nicely with that dull blue that I used, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more depth to those areas, making sure, you see I'm tapping it to make sure that it's dry, and then I didn't even blend that out. This was another interesting combination. I wanted to go with something, I didn't want to go with a really vibrant orange. I wanted to do something more with a pink tone, so I went ahead and I started with a pink flamingo, and that was the first color that I laid down, and then I'm going to blend it out with a pale orange, which is a very light orange color, and then I'll bring in my water brush and I'll blend that out just a little bit. So the pink and the orange is going to, it's going to give it more of an orange, an orange that's more on the pink side is what I'm trying to say. And I felt like with the colors that I had been using, that was more complementary than for me going for a solid orange color. So you can use your imagination and change up some of the colors. We're going to move into the greenery, and for the darkest part I did use an olive green, so this is an olive green, and then I'm going to blend, actually it's an ochre. I think it's an ochre that I used, and then I'm going to blend it out with a smoky yellow, and that smoky yellow really is more of a green tone, so it's kind of like a yellow green, and I added that to each of the greenery on all of the carrots. And all of the carrots I colored the exact same color. I did use the blush and the beige for the tulips. You can see that pink down there. I did use that blush that I used on the cheeks and the ears, and that just kind of brought some of those tones that I used on those ears and cheeks back into the composition if I wasn't sure which pieces I was going to use with the card that I was creating today. I did end up creating 2 cards, so the little bunny that's doing the watering, I am going to show you that card at the end of the video as well, because I did create that one for the Instagram hop that was that Scrappy Tails had. So now we're moving into our browns. I'm going to start coloring my little sack. There's 2 different browns that I used. The dark brown is called a mid brown, and you can see that that really is more on the I guess I would say more on the brown black side, so it's a very dark brown. And then the next color that I'm going to bring in is just a plain brown, and you're going to see just what a variance in color, because you would think that a brown and a mid brown would be fairly close in color, but the brown actually has more of a red tone to it. So I'm going to start adding that. Once I get this dark brown down, I'll start adding that brown, and then I'll blend it out. And when I start blending it out, you're really going to see the red that is in that color tone. These zigs are super easy to work with. I found that this is the only paper that I really enjoy working with them on. I think that I get the best blending on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. I happen to use Strathmore for mine. I've had this pad, oh my goodness, probably for about 5 years, and I still haven't went through it. So, if you buy a single pad, it can be a little bit pricey, but for the amount, I mean, unless everything you're coloring is going to be with zigs, then you're going to go through it a lot faster. But I think that it has lasted me 5 years, and I still have plenty of paper in there. You don't need, as you can see, I just used a small portion. I trimmed the paper down. I think it comes in a 9 by 12 if I'm not mistaken, and I just trim it down to however many images I want to color at the time. So you can really make this, you can really stretch this paper. All right, so I'm adding that brown right here, adding some more shading, and then I'm going to bring in my water brush. I will go over this, especially with that dark marker, a little bit more, because I do lose some of the shadowing that I was looking for. That red tone, the undertone from the brown marker really did just kind of take over, I thought, a little bit more than I wanted it to. And so while I'm doing this coloring, I did want to talk a little bit about my channel. So you notice that I didn't do very many videos. Actually, this is the first video that I've done in January. I've been doing a lot of blog posts, and I've also been sharing on Instagram and some of the social media sites, such as Share Handmade Kindness and card making, Let's Make Cards, so a few Facebook groups. But I haven't really been creating videos, and I kind of hit a burnout where I really wasn't enjoying creating videos as much. And so I decided that I didn't want to stop creating. I didn't want to let those creative juices completely dry up. So I did just kind of go into blog posts and trying to be a creator, yet not feeling the pressure of doing a YouTube video. I plan on doing more videos in the upcoming months. I've been really concentrating on kind of some personal things that that I felt like I really needed another creative outlet besides card making. And so I went into milling my own flour, doing some bread making, which is, if you've never researched milling your own wheat, the benefits and how different it is from the flour that we buy from the store, the health benefits from that. So I've been kind of revamping some of our eating habits, doing a lot more cooking, less processed foods, doing some purging. If you saw my Instagram, I just completely tore apart my craft room. I'm still in the process of putting that together, but I do plan on creating more videos on YouTube. I do have coming up, I am going to create a video. I have the Anna Griffin Mini Empress, and I've had it for 2 years. I am going to do a 2-year review on that because I think it's important to come back and talk about some of these products that we love at first sight, and then to just revisit how we feel about them a couple years later. And that's kind of what I'm going to do with some of these videos coming up in the next year. I'm going to revisit some of the products that I purchased that were hot on the market and that I just raved about, and see if they're still products that I love. So I hope that you, if you haven't subscribed, that you will subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified when I do upload a video. And of course, as always, I will be doing card videos as well. I did leave the Oh So Inspired team. I wanted a little bit of a break. I like to break up the way that the commitments that I have, and so I did decide to let that go. But if you have not seen the new design team, you can use the hashtag hashtag OSICJAN. I think it's 2024, and you'll be able to see all of the videos that the new team has created. They upload on the 20th of the month. I plan on doing some of the blog challenges, and I'll do videos for those. So the color throwdown, I really enjoy doing that. I might throw in a few flower challenges here and there. I'm really focusing, and I say this at the beginning of every year, and I really want to follow through, but I am focusing on using both old and new products and just sharing some techniques as well. So you saw that I did blend out that basket. I was able to just kind of add a little bit more shadowing, get that dark color in there, and I think that it helped not the basket, but the bag to pop a little bit more. And once I finished coloring the inside, I did not purchase, I did not get the dies for this stamp set. So I did take it over to my brother's Scan and Cut, and my brother's Scan and cut it out nicely. So I was able to cut the images, and then we'll start working on our background. This is going to be an A2 size top folding card. Oh no, side folding, I think. All right, so I have this circle stencil, and you can see in the center that I have a mask that is an arch. I have my cardstock in my Altenew stamp wheel because I really like the way that it holds the paper, but I still felt like I needed to use a little bit of tape. I'm strategically going to add that arch stencil. Now, I did want to mention that if you have the arch dies, all you need to do is cut out the size that you're looking for, and then you can place it in the center and just mask off that area with a piece of cardstock, cheap cardstock. I like having the stencils. I like the ability to just reuse them over and over again. So that's why I ended up purchasing stencils, but you don't need the stencil. You can use any shape that you want for the center of it. Just strategically tape it down. I'm using Tattered Rose. I thought it went really pretty with the tulip color that I was using. And then I'll remove the stencil. And we have that nice arch in the center that we're going to be able to build our scene. Now, because I have the mask, I also have the stencil, and that was really helpful. But again, all you need to do is cut it out of a piece of cardstock or maybe even copy paper, and you can place it right over the area that you had masked. I'm adding that peeled paint to the bottom. And here I'm placing the images that I think that I'm going to use. I want to make sure that I had that grass up high enough. I'll use the Faded Jeans to add the sky. And I thought the Faded Jeans was a better fit for the colors because of the denim on the bunny. I just thought that the more muted tone of the faded jeans went better, as well as the muted tones of the peeled paint. So there is my scene. Now I'm going to need to stamp my sentiment, so I'm not sure again how I'm doing this. I think I'm going to use 2 sets of flowers, and I'm going to place my sentiment where I would like it to be. I'll pick it up, and then I'm going to use, I don't think it's coffee. There's another archival ink. I'll have it linked in the description box below. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I did use a different color of archival ink for my sentiment that says you're a 24 karat friend. I used my arch dies to create a little bit of a frame. So I just put 2 of them together and then die cut them out for a frame. I just felt like it added a little bit more detail to the card, and it really honed in that focal point. So here I'm placing it down over the outside edge. I did color it using that same Tattered Rose Distress ink. And then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of this. I have this green piece of cardstock that's going to add a little bit of a frame to this background. So the background has been cut down to 4 by 5¼ inches. I'll center this on top of that, and then I'll add it to an A2 card base. I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of my bunny, and I decided to settle on just the tulips. So I'll add the tulips behind the bag just slightly, so only one of them is covered. And then I will add my bunny to the right side, and that will complete my card for today. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you sticking with me and coming back to watch. I know it's been a while, but I promise you that I will have some more videos coming up next month. I think I have a rhythm now with what I'm doing in just my general life, but I was so excited about this Scrappy Tails release. I can't wait to bring you some of the other products that I have from this release. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.